one of those inmendham video productions. I don't think I'll bother playing any clips. Just lots of little bullshits to deal with, though. So a little bit of the, stuff that doesn't matter and the stuff that does matter, sort of, kind of. Some drama. So anyway, fake Sagan. So we'll get the drama over with first this time. So that's what I chose to do. And then later it'll be Anaconda Vod and Holiday. Well, that'd be fun. And Trick. Puro, maybe. Yeah, I'm just so, it's so frustrating because, yeah, you just can't find a little bit of honest interaction anywhere in this medium. It's just, everything is just fucking bullshit and word games and games. It's just all players. People playing from a perspective. I mean, in the comment section, these fucking assholes. Every now and then somebody comments on the Mollyhue videos. Because apparently, I don't even know what to think of that shit. But they just do stupid shit. They rag on how I look or something, or just say you're stupid. You're like, what? I can't feed on that. You got to make a better criticism than that, asshole. You can't just say something. Your bridge analogy doesn't make any sense. Well, that's not a counter-argument I can do anything with. You actually have to have argument in your counter-argument. You can't just say, I'm counter-arguing. Did you get that? No, I didn't. So anyway, I mean, it's like a crocodile eating oatmeal. I mean, this is just no fun at all. Probably a bad analogy, but it doesn't matter. Fascinating organisms, evil, but fascinating. Realistically. So, alright, so anyway, Fake Sagan did a reply video. It's just, I don't know. I took notes in red pen, so I can't even read them, but yogurt, I don't know what that has to do with it. Yippies? Berries in back bleh. Daggers. Alright, sorry, this is my fault. I should, daggers in the back. So he used that as an analogy, which I thought was kind of funny. Because that's backstabbing. When you're talking about Brett Keane having all these daggers in his back, well, that would be backstabbing. And, that's, Brett Keane doesn't have any daggers in his back. Brett Keane has what's called hoisted on your own petard wounds, or he has his own collateral damage. He keeps lighting matches and he's too stupid to figure out, hey, it burns down and then your fingers catch fire. He's no good at lighting fuses. He's just can't blow up anything to save his, to ruin his life. So yes, he's covered in his own collateral damage. Something like that. Hoist on your own petard. It's some kind of French thing. Anyway. I don't know. Revolution? I don't know what that had to do with anything. It's probably revulsion. Reputation. That was it. So, yeah, Brett Keane has this terrible reputation and blah, blah, blah. So then, yeah, so there really wasn't anything here, right? There's no big scoop, no big, wow, no, nothing new. And look at everybody's, people are if you attempt to defend your reputation, okay, like, I defended myself against being slandered as an anti-Semite when I am not an anti-Semite. And even the Holocaust denier part was just so irritating because, I had gone through all this stuff of, expressing huge empathy for the horror of putting Stars of David. I, even emphasized that point, segregating people and then exterminating them in this, what I thought was even a worse way than gas chambers, in this slow, horrible attrition, just watching each other die one at a time. I mean, much more horrible in my opinion than the idea of gas chamber, but yet, see, gas chamber just sounds so much more Nazi and aggressive and, deliberate, and that's what they really wanted to sell. And because I didn't see it that way, I was a Holocaust denier, and I'm somehow an anti-Semite. Yet everything I talked about was demonstrating empathy. And so you get labeled something, and then that's your reputation. So my reputation is I false DMCA people because I defend my image against people maliciously using it, and I'm outrageous. I'm a malicious character. So yeah, reputation can be bullshit, especially in the hands of the ignorant and the foolish and liars and cheaters, which is the majority of YouTube viewers, obviously. Simple-minded shit talkers. People have no right to point their finger. Gutless, yet too. No icons, and yet they will talk about how somebody looks. Just the amazing crap like that. Anyway, but I didn't want to get on to that. Wasn't really the subject here. The point is Fake Sagan, does a little bantery thing, haha, inmendham, and finally gets to the, okay, here's the stupid tape, because who cares? And yes, everything was way over exaggerated, and that's all part of the game, because we all have to make this more fun somehow than it really is, and blah 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 blah. And so and the big out is that TJ has pedophilic tendencies of some kind, or fantasies even, or he enjoys it. Where is this a news flash? TJ basically announced that years ago. He told whole stories about his whole, strange circumstances in his life, the events happening in bathrooms and all kinds of stuff like that. This news is, are you next going to tell me we're going to send a probe to Mars? Is that going to be the next big news story? We're sending a probe to Mars! It's amazing! We've only done it 1,700 times in the past. I mean, it's not news. And this is what's made TJ more popular. I mean, that's the irony, right? Because, yeah, the audience is, men's, it's not even men. We know that, penises don't have a very big brain. And they're very, very crude little devices. And, they do some weird shit. They have a weird understanding of the world. And, men suck. And so, men, it's just not a good thing. And, but anyway, all these people, they just gravitate to this. So that's the obvious lesson of this is what people are, you see. And anybody who's talking about how we have to rise above being what we are, that's stupid, and that's a waste of time. That's not the Anacontavada way. And so Anacontavada is just kind of like the intellectual version of the TJ nihilist, and the whatever, the dirt bags, and they really are. That's the other part, it's just so funny, these dirt bags talking about somebody else being unkempt or having a stain on their shirt. Oh, amazing. Anyway, people are just so full of hypocrisy and duplicity and bullshit. Oh my. You just, you can't face palm enough. Oh, darn it. It's just a stupiverse. That's what, I guess that'll be the name of my book. Stupiverse. The universe is so fucking stupid that this is its definition of intelligence. These assholes. Whoosh. Anyway, so there's no reveal here, right? I mean, TJ. Remember to me the really big character issue was the fact that he did that fake charity stuff, and then he had the conversations, recorded. That he knew were going to be recorded. He doesn't have any fear about this stuff, and he basically talked about how, well, that's all Galen's idea, and I don't want, just a way to make money, and blah 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 blah. And so he's just using the charities, right? People get flooded out of their house, and TJ, makes some money on the deal, on the dead corpses, and the bloating dogs floating in the water and shit. Just so crass. But that's another thing. Hey, TJ can get away with anything. I mean, he's just a hero for oh man, we can get away with anything, can't we? And that's sort of what Trump amplifies, right? Is just, you can't touch this. Okay, yeah, you really. And everybody that's how they all want to be untouchables. They all want to be above the law, above critique, above criticism. That the worse you behave, the more people love you. I mean, this is jackass. That's all that this is, jackass. The fucking internet is jackass. You just can't go any lower. You just can't. You know, it's swallowing goldfish stuffed full of dog shit. You know, I mean, you just keep turn it up another notch. You know, just to do it even one worse, and you're even more of a hero. And I guess Brett Keen's just complaining because he's like, shit, I've been as debaucherous as hell, and nobody. Well, it's just because you're not sitting up, Brett. You know, I mean, you really got to put a little bit of effort into this. Just to, you know, maybe if you just sat up, somebody might take you a little bit more seriously. But I mean, yeah, you got the technology. There's no denying that there's something very lyrical about your way of talking. I mean, it is just kind of, yeah, what the hell is going on? You know, you do. People watch because it's like, you know, you're somewhat compelling for some kind of, it's this weird reason, you know, like the brain, it's like math, but it's all the numbers are crooked, and so it just, you know, your brain just says, well, wait a minute, isn't that just 2 + 2? But how come everything's sideways and it's all crooked? So yeah, so it's something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but clearly this you know, I couldn't be bothered, frankly. But anyway, so where was it going? So yeah, so it's all this, you know, I mean, it is a mystery that this is how the world runs, and it's you know, you say, gee, as a smart person, oh, I should be able to figure this game out if that's all it is. What, I speed up my videos by 10%, I sit up straight, you know, wear a clean shirt, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe if I just pretend I'm fat, or I have man boobs, I'll wear a saggy bra or something. You know, whatever it is you need to do to appeal, you know, to the droolers. And that's what they are. They're people, you know, chewing or smoking something and drooling. Tell me what you think about her. Oh, that's a thing. I think that today. Yeah. I like that guy. He's pudgy like me. Shit. Where am I? Anyway. So yeah, it's just horrible. Horrible. So anyway, so this was nothing. So that drama is now disposed of. The big hype about nothing. Brett Keen was what? Yes, he was angry, and he was going to get the DP with the big pedophile news that's old news. And I guess Brett just didn't realize how old that news is. Maybe he wasn't on YouTube back then. That's when he was trying to get his account back or something. But anyway, so it's just totally not news. There was some other point I wanted to make. Yeah, so there was just nothing there, right? Because I'm sure we could also have like behind the scenes video, like fly on the wall video of the drunken peasants when they're doing their whole, well, look, if we have Brett on the show again, we can make fun of this, and then we can do that, and they're engineering their exploitation of the Brett Keen as a mockable figure, and how they can exploit that, and that would somehow be, holy shit, this is incredible, look at these people with their malicious thoughts. Right. In this is the world we live in, this fucking creepy, shitty, shystery place where everybody's lying to you they call you up and say, hi, I'm Diane, I really care about you, how are you doing today? Would you like to buy something? You're just totally, I know this sounds weird, but yes, I'm selling something totally useless, like a pen that doesn't write, but, you know, I'd like the opportunity to convince you to buy it. It clicks, but yeah, no, there's no ink in it. It just clicks, though. People like to have clicky things. Anyway, I mean, we just live in this tacky, shitty world, full of shitty, tacky people. And then, you know, I'm sitting with this expectation that the people who can smell a little bit of their ass and smell the other asses and say, gee, there's a bad smell in this atmosphere we're living in. This human race thing is not doing very well. It's just making a lot of bad smells. We should be doing better than that. And then they drive to McDonald's and forget. Because they eat the forget everything food. Nothing's important food or something. But yeah, they don't want to fix the world. They don't want to be leaders. They don't want to take control of the bus. They just sit in their comfy chair saying, well, I know retards are running the show, but I'm just too busy texting to give a shit. I don't want to drive because then I can't text. Love you. Hardy, hardy. Fuck. And you just see the waste of it. And that's, waste is always it's the theme of this. I mean, it should be in wastedom or something, or out of wastedom, or fuck the waste, you dumb fuckers, or something. It should probably have waste in the title somewhere. Because it's all this is about. It's just all this gross, overt waste. Waste everywhere. Just waste land. This is all this is. It's a waste fucking land. Alright, so. Alright, now off to the intellectuals. Anticonovat, I can still look, smart guy, knows all these stories, but he's back doing this shit. I mean, I could show you, but I don't think there's any point. So it's back to this absolute versus provisional truth, whatever that means. They're always provisional, but the provision is something like, well, look, let's take leprechauns and pixies off the table. Gremlins too. Yeah, let's just get rid of that shit and just say, okay, we're provisionally saying they don't exist. Yes, we're going to pretend we're going to be serious thinkers for a change instead of daydreamers and bullshitters. And that's all you're doing. There's no absolute in any sense besides the absoluteness of, yes, it's beyond a reasonable consideration. It's beyond reasonable to waste time provisionalizing the truth for occurrences that have no useful predictability, like asteroids crashing on Earth. There's not much point in everybody every day saying, does it look like asteroids? Because you're not going to be able to tell if it's asteroids are coming. There's no point in wasting time saying, oh, is today asteroid day? No, it's just a waste of time. You don't do that. And you don't play these games, So he's back to this stupid elephant analogy where, yeah, you go walk around elephants tasting different things. Who the fuck cares? That has nothing to do with these truths. Real truth holds up, okay? We're not blind to real truth. And when you accurately describe something, it's going to be true no matter what language you say it in, no matter how, whatever you do to it, it's still going to be true. You're not going to change the truth. And that's part of this whole thing of what is a truth. A truth is essentially an analogy where you say, I have knowledge of this. Then somebody can explain this because they can use this, all right, because I have personal knowledge of that. And now somebody's just going to try to describe this to me. I don't get to see this. I don't get to see this. But I know this. Then they can explain this by comparing it to this. That's all logic is. So you just say something intelligent knows what atoms are, it knows what electrons and protons and neutrons are, it knows what materials are, and you can start describing things based on experience you've had with things in very solid ways. And evolution's a very solidly developed explanation for the development of creatures that have this capacity to function and do these things with senses and all this kind of crap. It's a very lucid, almost infinitely sensible explanation. And it fills the bill. It satisfies any reasonable curiosity. Any reasonable questions are answered. And it's rather complete. And it's not some kind of fucking elephant that looks different over here and looks different over there. The story of evolution is the story of evolution. You can't pervert it by changing a perspective. It doesn't, you can't put God into it by looking at it someplace else. You can't do anything to it. It's a truth. And these people want to just keep pretending that everything's subject to this interpretation thing, and it's not. Things can be accurately described. So this is the game Hoffladay and Trick are playing. Trick is, he's a likable guy, but there's just 2 or 3 little things in Trick's brain that I can't accept. I just can't tolerate them. They're stupid. And one of them is, he doesn't think a truth is a truth until a brain knows it. And that's just fucking bullshit. Again, the truth is sitting out there as a relationship between things. The moon is a certain distance from the earth. It's a truth. The orbit, everything about it, these are all just diagrammable, established, true things, and nobody has to know it for it to exist and to be true. Before there were human beings and there were just creatures on planet Earth who didn't contemplate the universe was the same universe. It was all out there doing its truth thing. The relationships existed. And we're just describing relationships and form. And those are always true. And so the truth of we have sentience because we have brain, and brain creates that in our brain, whether you want to call it an illusion or not doesn't really matter to me, but it's a function of our brain that this is what it produces as a consequence, is this sense of consciousness. And it's a truth. Nobody has to know it, and the value experience, the feeling thing, is happening. Somebody doesn't have to report on it. It doesn't have to be written in the New York Times before it's a truth. It's a truth. It was true 1 million years ago. It was true 1 billion years ago that organisms on Earth were feeling and they were experiencing, and nobody needed to report on it for it to be a fact. Their pain was real. The crocodile teeth, penetrated the flesh and crushed the air out of organisms' lungs. It's a truth. And they experienced the sensations commensurate with that experience. Alright, so Trick is arguing with Hoffladay. And, Hoffladay's playing this old game he keeps playing. Well, if you can't make a written description of it, it can't exist. So if I can't write a paragraph describing it, it can't exist. And that's just such bullshit, because you can't write a paragraph. There's nothing else to compare consciousness to. There's no other pen. There's just consciousness. You can't compare a feeling to battery. You can't compare a feeling to scissors. You can't compare a feeling to popcorn. You can't compare a feeling to filter from cigarette. You can't compare these things. That just reminds me of Fake Sagan. Look, Fake Sagan, I smoke cigarettes when some of my patrons once in a while provide me with some cigarettes, some real ones. And they're really quite special. And yes, I really don't give a fuck about dying. And frankly, it doesn't matter anyway. You die from the radiation, okay? It's not about the tar. So I'd have to live another 20 years to die from cancer from a cigarette I smoked today. You get killed by the first cigarette you smoke. You don't get killed by the last one you smoke. Asshole. Anyway, you should know that kind of stuff. Go do some research. Anyway. Just hate people. So Hoffladay insists that there is no truth that can't be written in words and description. But you can't describe feeling, because you don't have anything else to compare it to. There's no subcategory of consciousness, no half of a pen, or a more elaborate pen, a 4-cylinder engine and then an 8-cylinder engine. There's no comparisons. There's nothing to compare it to. So there's no way to describe it, because we don't have any words for what it is to feel. And even if you had those words, the thing you're talking to would have to know what those elements are. So I could describe hearing by saying, well, it's like seeing, except not anything like it really. It's a sense. So if you had eyesight, you at least could understand hearing as being a sense. You could understand it as this way stuff comes in and it does something in your brain, so you could get that part of it. But you'd have to know what seeing is. You'd have to have something to compare it to. You can't know what anything is in isolation. You can only know it through this relativity thing, through its connections to other things. That's the only way you can measure something. And so it's just such an idiotic fucking argument that nobody could ever testify to what consciousness is. So if an intelligence never had a feeling, it would be permissible for the consciousness to say, for the consciousness that doesn't feel, the thinking machine, to say, feelings are non-existent because you can't explain one to me. You can't make me hear what a feeling is and therefore feel the feeling. And therefore, so I can never understand bad because I can never understand its origin, which is bad feeling. We wouldn't know what bad was unless we had a bad feeling. It's the only way to know what bad is. You have to feel it. You have to have a feeling to know what feelings are. You have to actually taste one. And once you've tasted one feeling, then somebody can explain other feelings to you. If somebody tells me what it's like to have somebody just crush their nuts, and they know that feeling, you know, they crush their nuts on a bicycle, let's say. Well, then I can describe a whole bunch of other nut crushers, and they can understand that, oh, that would be a less nut crunch, and that would be a worse nut crunch. You know, if they know what it's like to be stabbed with a 4-inch knife, well, then they can imagine what it's like to be stabbed with a 2-inch knife or an 8-inch knife. I mean, it's that kind of thing. But if they've never been stabbed, they never had a feeling, they can't know what feelings are. It's impossible. You can't describe it. You have to have a reference. And the fact that he can't get this simple argument has been made to him over and over and over. You cannot discount the existence of something merely because it's commensurate. The only way you can know it is to be conscious. You have to be a sensate organism to understand it. There's no other way. You have to experience it. You have to taste something to know what tasting is. Oh, fuck. So anyway, this is the bullshit. This is the fucking... This is what these assholes are throwing as arguments. Again, Anna Konovan has done this stupid elephant thing at least 3 times now. Like this somehow proves that we can't know anything. Because blind people can't figure out what elephants are. So that means evolution is completely, amorphous. It's a wacky idea floating in some sort of ether, and depending on your perspective, it doesn't mean what it means. No, none of that's true. It's an accurate description of our origins. And again, if you're going to keep playing that it's a provisional truth, then admit that you're a provisional theist. That's what you are. If you're going to say evolution is provisional, then the other side of that provision is God. Or something like it. Bullshit. Pixies. Whatever you want to define. Leprechauns, whatever, Tinkerbell, whatever your fucking God is made out of. It's something not reasonable, not rational, not logical, not part of some sort of describable physics. It's fucking magic. So anyway, I think I've made my point. Is that you can't argue with these idiots. This is insane to have to premise a conversation with, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't even establish as a truth the fact that there's feeling things on fucking planet Earth, huh? You fucking asshole. I mean, Hothliday's last video, it's titled something bizarre. What is it like to be me? What is it like to be a pencil? I mean, this is just so, you're just like, why the fuck? What? I mean, you're just too fucking stupid. I mean, when somebody just, 100 billion neurons for absolutely nothing to be compared to a pencil. And again, just deny his own consciousness. This is what he's doing. Because there's no way he can put what he's experiencing in his consciousness into a descriptive sentence that could mean anything to anyone who's never had a feeling. You couldn't explain it to the most intelligent thing in the universe if that intelligent thing doesn't know what a feeling is, if it's never had one. Funny how you hear unwell when you dampen the skull bones. I mean, they really do have a lot to do with your hearing. It's that whole physics thing of harmonics again. Anyway, so yeah, there was no further physics conversation, as I figured there wouldn't be. As soon as I sit there and make the effort to say, well, let's isolate the conversation and try to have a rational conversation about the development of physics in theory, yes, all of a sudden disinterest, because yeah, that that sounds like a way that for them to lose, because then they'd have to go one step at a time and defend each silly premise one at a time, and they can't do that. Anyway, all right. So yeah, but this is just too dismal. But this is the world, right? I mean, it's people are really, really, really stupid, are really, really, really insane. That's all there is. And the insanity is like a contrived insanity. And Anaconivad's insanity and Hoffiday's insanity is just a contrived. Because they're just desperately seeking excuses to run from the truth. Because the truth is a booger. And they don't want to know that life is a booger. So I mean, everybody's just such a fucking, everybody's just running a con. It's Jesus freak all the way down. Just all these stupid rationalizations for doing something really stupid. You know, but because you're doing it, it's okay. Alright, so that's, I guess, just a lament is what it is. You know, people then they comment too, why are you wasting your time, blah blah, and you're like, well, do you have some suggestion with who I should waste my time on? Assholes. Ugh, I think it's just so irritating. But anyway, I was thinking of the live room thing, you know, the idea of having 2 or 3 select people in a room, like me and Piero and maybe half a day or something, and just do the physics thing and just play a physics video, and then, you know, we'll pause it, comment on what we think is being said, and you know, whether we think it's an honest presentation. Yes. Might be a good idea if it can be organized and such. Yeah. Anyway. The pain. Is there anything else? Oh, let me just check, see if there's anything else to say about fucking fake Sagan. Oh yeah, well he does call his vote for Trump a protest vote. And you know, that's just so. That's like the protesters who turn over cars and burn down all the local businesses. It's a retard's way of protesting. It's you know, the damage Trump is going to do to the infrastructure is going to be so substantial. Again, we still haven't recovered from the damage Reagan did. We still haven't been able to undo the, you know, make the rich richer policies that he put in place. And this is just another George Bush step backwards. You know, it's a zombie form of George Bush. So anyway, that's enough. So till next time, such and so.